It's World Collage Day, and mixed media collage artists everywhere are turning to their scissors and glue to create. Today, you'll see me place transparent layer after layer to make a dreamy and satisfying mixed media collage. On this World Collage Day, my wish for you is to explore collage as a creative medium, more from a place of discovery and less from a place of judgment. I'm Jackie Bernardi, and welcome to my studio. I have spent the last several weeks making an awful lot of transparent papers, either on the gel plate or just painting them. And I thought today, on World Collage Day, it would be the perfect opportunity to use them. So, what I'm going to do here is I'm just going to make a collage inside of my journal. I love this journal because it's got a spiral bind, which means I can open up pages flat or I can just flip pages over and there's no problem. What there is a problem with, though, is I did not mix up this high flow medium from Golden before pouring it originally. So all that came out was just pigment and no medium. So please remember to shake up your bottles of paint before you use them. They will separate sometimes. And all I did was put down some light phthalo blue, some Payne's gray, some titanium white, and some teal. And what I'm doing here is just creating a background, period. Simple acrylic paint background. And I'm using the brayer to spread the paint. One, because I love to do that. But two, because I don't actually want brush strokes. I don't know what I'm going to create here, but I know I don't want brush strokes. I want uneven coverage with the paint color, and I want some undulations between the different blues. And so I think that's what I've reached here. So I'm going to let this dry just a little bit. And while that's just setting up just a little tiny bit, I'm going to start going through these papers that I've been making and seeing which ones might be the ones that I want to incorporate in this collage. I'll tell you, I have had a very intense week of working, and I know that sounds funny, like intense week of creating art. Well, yeah, actually, I really have. I taught a class inside of my community. I taught a workshop class in the massive Mastering Mixed Media Expo, which, by the way, you can still get for free for the next 4 or 5 days on May 14th. That will be the end of it. So if you haven't grabbed it yet, you can still grab it for free. Or if you know you want to upgrade, you can upgrade right away. But it's still available, so take advantage of it. But between promoting that and talking about it, the class that I had inside of my community, and also a collaboration that I'm working with another artist by the name of Jackie Schomburg, whom I'm sure many of you know. It's been an intensely busy week. So I wasn't really sure what I was going to do today. And when I remembered that it was World Collage Day, I knew that I would have to do collage, but I wanted to do a collage that purely made me happy. So I'm going to try to do my best to tell you what I'm thinking as I'm laying everything down, but I may not be able to convey all of that because I I just really want to enjoy the process and I want you to enjoy the process with me. So to get started, what I'm doing here is essentially just auditioning different pieces of paper that I've painted recently and seeing if they fit and how they fit and what story might develop from what I'm laying down. And that big strip of paper that I have going across the bottom, that was a gel printed paper. It's not a transparent paper. And I did that months ago, and I love the text element on that. And I keep wanting to use it in something. And I keep taking it away from everything that I think I wanna use it in. I end up not using it in this collage at all. I don't know why, but another piece of paper captured my attention completely, and it's this really beautiful, transparent piece of medical exam paper that I painted last week, actually with alcohol inks, and I will have to do a video on that at some point. That was really it was a super fun exercise, and I got some really interesting results. I knew when I picked up this piece of paper a couple moments ago that it was the paper that I would use first in this collage. And it would be the first piece of paper that would start telling the story of whatever story this collage will end up being. Now, even though I'm talking about it, I want you to know that as I am creating this, I am not overthinking what I'm going to do next or not do next. I'm just going by my gut feeling when I grab a piece of paper. So, this piece of paper here is a piece of wet strength tissue paper, and on it is some actual copper with actual verdigris that has dried over a long, long period of time. In fact, I've had this piece of paper now for probably 9 months and didn't know what I would do with it. And for some reason, it felt like it belonged on this page today. Now you can barely see the copper highlights, and right at the moment, you can barely see the verdigris because it's blending in with the blue, and that's because it's wet. When it dries, you'll be able to see it better. And this dark piece here was just a roll-off sheet that I rolled off onto a piece of the medical exam paper. And as I laid it down, you get that big, dark, column, but you can also see through the paper to the bottom layer, which was the undulating blues. And at the moment, I really like that. And so we'll see if I continue to. And again, I'm just going through, I'm having a real season with transparency right now. I think you all know that. I've done quite a few videos on transparency. The whole workshop in the expo was on creating transparency with the gel plate. And the reason why I keep going back to transparency in building up layers is I have not found another way in making collage to create the depth and character of any given piece more easily or more beautifully than I can with transparent papers. So it works with abstract art, it works with realism. You can make transparent papers work in anything that you're working on. And as you know, I do abstract type work, and I really like that. Oh, is this going to be a mistake? I hope not, but this is actually on this is medical exam paper also, and, you'll see as I go over it and over it and over it, as it starts to set up, it blends in with all the other layers on it, and what's happening there, I could never paint on my own. And allowing myself to give up control over having to look a certain way and allowing the whimsy and the magic of these transparent papers to build up is truly what is setting my soul on fire today. And it feels so good because this is a release for me. After a long week, after a busy week, there's almost nothing I'd rather be doing right now than just exploring and seeing what's happening here. Super exciting. I'm not gonna lie, that dark column over on the left-hand side is starting to feel like a regrettable choice. Like, I have all this very zen look at this paper. Remember this from the, gigantic gel plate video? These 2 pieces, I have I couldn't wait to use them, and so they are getting used right now, baby, because, uh, the texture and the patterns in them, I think, will add an element here. uh It just fits, let me just put it that way. It feels like it fits. We'll see, but it feels like it. But what I was saying is, just letting myself create today and not getting overly concerned with the way things are shaping up or even overly concerned where things are placed feels restorative. Like, I feel like, all the energy that I was putting out in the world this week is now coming back to me in the form of creating something mystical and magical, and, it feels great. So I like using the silicone paint shaper to lay down papers, when I create collage. There's lots of other tools that I use as well. You know, I love the Catalyst Wedge. There's some other Princeton silicone type tools that I enjoy using, but I always go back to the paint shapers because, 1, I have so much control over them and the pressure and directionality when using them, but also because they are so easy to clean. Out of all my tools, these are the easiest to clean. The acrylic paint just comes right off the silicone with hardly any struggle at all. So if you see any clean tools in my studio, you can bet it's silicone based. Nothing wrong with taking the easy way out when it comes to cleaning. Now the dark column over on the left side is confusing me enough that I'm starting to try to find ways to counterbalance it. Um, I'm I'm usually okay with an off balance type composition, but for some reason that dark column just keeps it's haunting me, almost taunting me, actually, is what I should say. And I thought putting this down on the other side would help mitigate that. It didn't. So I'm going to have to do something at some point to both sides. I don't know what yet, but I do trust that it will come to me as I move on. And here I am using some of that paper from the gigantic gel plate. And I could not be happier with that stencil design. I'll link, don't worry, I will link to that. I'll link to anything that I'm talking about in the description below so that you can go and check it out on your own on how I made that paper. If you watch all my videos, I'm not saying you should, but if you watch all my videos, you'll see how I made every single one of these papers because every single one of them came from one video or another. I'm not going to list all the videos. You can do that through the channel, but all I'm saying is that all the papers that you're seeing me use have been made over the past most of them have been made in 2025, but several of them were made a year or even 2 years ago, and yet I still have pieces of them, and they're still showing up in the works that I create, and this is one of the reasons why I'm so passionate about about painting papers, right? You have them, you may create them and have no idea when or how you're going to use them, and yet you still find a way at some point, at some time. I love it. I know some of you will ask about the medical exam paper, and up until this very week, I did not have any sources other than the exact medical exam paper that I'm using, which is an American brand and actually is only available in the US. Well, I did a deep dive search on where to find it globally. So it's very fitting on Global Collage Day, World Collage Day. Um, I do have a resource that lists everywhere that well, not everywhere, I can't say that. In many, many different countries where you can source medical exam paper. I cannot guarantee that it's exactly like the medical exam paper that I am using, but I gave my very best effort to find a comparable paper. It may be exactly like my paper. I don't know because I haven't used them, but there is a list and it will give you a starting point for looking for the papers. And if you sign up down below for my free resources, it's right in there with the free resources. You'll see the list there. And then you can determine from wherever you live if those papers make sense to you or if they send you down a path of finding the papers for you. I guarantee this paper is, or some form of this paper is available everywhere. I'm just limited by where I live. So go ahead and grab that resource. You'll be super happy that you did. I I think what I'm loving here are all the little spots of visual interest, like all these little pop-ups of different colors and shapes, and they're almost floating, but not exactly floating. What I'm doing right here is I am trying to find a way. I'm really working hard to find a way to reduce the impact of that column because I can't stop thinking about it, and it's distracting me from an otherwise completely restful and lovely piece. I'm really loving the piece itself, but this column is even trying to cover it is giving me problems. I'm not whining, you guys know I don't normally whine about it. It's just I'm just like everybody. Sometimes you back yourself into a corner, you're not sure how you get out of it. Well, I'm just gonna keep going until I feel like I'm out of it. So this element here is not a collage element. I'm actually adding some of my, I think you all know by now, my all-time favorite paint. This is Super Pearl Gold by Nova Paints. And this particular metallic is magic and it's like a shapeshifter. It changes everything it touches and it makes it better. And I'm really not exaggerating when I say this. This could be on jet black, it could be on this blue that I have going, it can be on any color, and it completely changes everything that you see with that color, the density of the color, the opacity, the texture of the color. It's a miracle paint, and I know I'm being dramatic, but I love it that much. And as you can see, it's completely changed the balance of this piece, and the actual application of it has changed the story. I don't know if you can see it, but this feels so much more cohesive to me than it did, and it feels like it has something of gravity now, whereas just a couple moments ago, as much as I loved it and as beautiful as I thought it was, it all felt somewhat disparate, right? So I love that, and plus look at that on top of the dark blue on the roll-off sheet. Oh, God, I love it. Alright, I don't think I wanna do anything else with this right now. The page itself is pretty darn wet because of the formula that I use to create the transparency with the medical exam paper. I have a lot of videos on that. I'll link to them. I won't go into it here, but now I just wanna show you where I'm stopping for now. This may not be stopping forever, but for right now, this is where I'm gonna stop, and I'm gonna live with this piece for a while before I make any more decisions about it. I hope you've enjoyed World Collage Day with me. I encourage you to go and create your own collage right this minute. I mean it, don't wait. Get it out of your body. It's so fun. If you were wondering what to watch next, this is what I would watch, and I hope to see you over there.